There is no problem of life, in the sense in which we ordinarily use that phrase. And that seems an almost astounding affront to our common sense. Life not a problem. We see it as nothing but problems. We regard ourselves in a morning, noon, and night struggle to solve the great problem of existence. And for some people this problem is, why does the universe exist? For other people the problem is, how am I going to get enough to eat? And therefore, when you take it at one extreme or the other, who can say that life is not a problem? And yet here is this audacious suggestion that what we are bothering about is a ghost. It's something that isn't really there.
Is it a Cambridge vlog without Alan Watts? I don't think so. Super lazy of me, this, guys and girls. I do apologise. Usually I'm setting the camera up and doing a voiceover, but the time is currently 17:38. 17:38, and I've got a cap. It's going out at 7 p.m. today. So it's going to have to be a voiceover straight out the laptop. But diet, how this dieting phase has gone pre-Ibiza. I think this is one of the only, I've been fairly intuitive in the past, but this may be one of the only dieting phases where I've not weighed myself at all. I've just allowed the deficit, my output, steps, condition work, either on the bike and runs, to take care of itself. And condition has been slowly coming in. So me and Josh kind of dropped the hammer around about 8 or so weeks ago. Both said, let's go fairly aggressive. Stuck calories on around about 1900-ish, which is low for me. I think I'm around about 88 key. I may need to jump on the scales before I go. But yeah, kept calories fairly low and plenty of expenditure and feeling good, feeling really good. You know, I think the experience you gain, years of bodybuilding, I said this on my Instagram the other day, the ability to just like flip into bodybuilder mode and have that set routine. And I will do a video before we go to Ibiza on what that routine is, which I think is a really good routine for someone if they're looking to drop some fat pretty quickly. But the accumulation of like, without sounding like too many buzzwords, but like the accumulation of grinding out those preps allows you, when you're on a holiday prep, to easily just go, right, I need to do X, Y, and Z. And I know that works for me, and I know what works for me and my body. So yeah, been good. Conditions all good. I'll more than likely still continue to diet out in Ibiza. I like dieting when I'm over there. Like, it's the perfect environment to continue to pull some fat off. Plenty of running, plenty of training, eating some good food. So very much looking forward to it. I think we're going away in 17 or 18 days. It's coming around quickly. But yeah, very, very excited. Just thought I'd do a little voiceover whilst training at one of my favourite gyms ever, La Coach. If you're in the Cambridge area, make sure you go and check them out. Pre and probiotic goodness with fibre and fermentation. Banana, blueberries, kefir. Someone asked what kefir I use. I don't use regular kefir because I can't do dairy, but there's many supermarkets now that are doing kefir from coconut milk. So I picked this one up. Love your gut BioML. But I use a coconut kefir yogurt with granola and mixed berries before training. It is lovely. It is lovely. New book, got a new book, Irish, up the Irish, close to home. I seem to have a bit of a fascination with lone wolf type movies or books. I wonder if there's any psychologists watching that can identify why that is. But I like, what films do I like? Bronson, I like Driver, Ryan Gosling. I like Normal People, really good. I like American Psycho, fantastic. But I always get asked on my Instagram what my top 3 or recommendations for fiction and non-fiction. Let's go fiction first. Number 1 for me had to be Normal People, Sally Rooney. I just love it. I absolutely love it, and it's going to stay at number 1. Number 2, I'm a bit of a slut for like romance thriller types. Verity by Colleen Hoover is unbelievable. It is really good. I'm not ashamed to admit it either. So Sally Rooney, Normal People, Verity by Colleen Hoover, and number 3 I'd have to go Michael Mikidis, Silent Patient. If you are after an absolute thriller to the point where you're like, oh my god, I couldn't finish it on the train. I had about 30 pages to go, and I was coming back from Shoreditch, and I thought, the book deserves more than finishing on a train. I had to go home and read it. Gripping. It's unbelievably fantastic. Non-fiction, I go number 1, Sapiens is brilliant. Noah Harari, Sapiens #1. Oh, I don't know. Just finished 4,000 Weeks. Close between those two. Sapiens, 4,000 Weeks, and third I would probably say James Clear, Atomic Habits. Some honourable mentions for fiction: Yellowface, Yomi Adekogi's The List, that was cool. Non-fiction, I'd go Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. That's really good. But yeah, that's like my top 3. But I want to finish this. I wanted to get this and finish it before I go to Ibiza, and in Ibiza start Power of Now. Because if I can merge that spiritual awakening from a book on the island of all islands, get a lot of shrooms down me as well. Mushrooms in a stir fry. So, what's the time? 2 o'clock. I'm going to finish that with some sea bass and some melon. Finish check-ins. I think tomorrow I'm just going to run in the morning, come back, finish work, and then head into Cambridge. And then, as opposed to doing quick Cambridge, no. Long Cambridge. I've definitely got autism, I think. Josh seems to think so. A couple of girls that I was seeing also said it, and I thought, that's the second time someone said that. Walked past a dog that was like an autistic dog, and she was like, oh, you should get one of them. I thought, alright, I'll forget about that. And then the second one was, oh yeah, something about undateables, and she was like, you were really good on there. And I was thinking, I think with me, my autistic traits are noise. I can't stand noise, and also going to the same places all the time. As you can currently see, Cambridge. I'm going to go back to the same coffee shop, and I'm going to sit in the same place. I love it. Whether or not that's actual autism, I don't think so. Maybe I'm on the spectrum, aren't we all? Okay, time to do some check-ins with a shirt on.
Put your hands together one time. I want you to get together. I want you to get together. I want you to get together.
5k, there's a telephone box with books in there. 5k PB. Last time we PB was at the winter 10k. That felt good, that run. Something smells very good round here. I may have to partake in the conversion of smell to taste, but I'm trying to be good. What have we got in here? Nothing in here worth writing home about. Even the DVDs are a bit bland. Black Hawk Down's great, that's good, to be fair. That's about it. No other books either. The autism strikes again, off the same coffee shop as last time. I like it here. It's called Harvey's Coffee House, and it's inside part of the uni. But it's fascinating. I feel like it raises the bar and demands you to become more intelligent. When I was sitting there last time, these two were having a conversation about like quantum physics, and I was thinking, this is dope. I feel like I missed out on uni. I was kind of advised, you don't really need to go for the line of work and career you want to get into, but because I like everything, so I feel like I'd have enjoyed uni. Can never say I can always go back, you know. Welcome to Harvey's. What's good about Cambridge is they're dotted about everywhere. So once I'm done in there, jump on that, head into Cambridge.
Oh, whatever, you know. That was the main thing. I feel like that was my focus.
I like it in that environment. I feel very content in that sort of space. It's a little too wet to jump on the scooters, so I'm driving in. I'm gonna head to my favourite bookshop. It's the bookshop of all bookshops, this place. There it is, look, in all this beauty. Fat heifers. How good is it? Unbelievably, I've got to stop buying books. It's become a bit of an addiction now. There's a toss up between this and Gabor Mate's book. And there's a really good, interesting podcast with Dr. Joe, I can't remember his last name, but I've been listening to a lot of him and Gabor Mate on how this is the cause of a lot of our issues, and how if this is the cause, then this can also be the fix. I think it's more so of a desperate plea to try and calm this, but very interesting either way. Wow, this is like peak coziness. I can't remember the last time I felt this cozy. Maybe in Centre Parks a long time ago. Cup of tea, book, and I can hear the pitter patter of the rain. As much as I love the sun, sometimes this setup can't be beaten. I suppose we should address the title of the video, which was Advice in Your 30s. Someone commented on the Advice in Your 20s video. No, I think it was an Instagram comment that said, I watched the advice in your 20s video. Can you give me some advice on turning 30? I turn 30 next week. I was like, yeah, sure. I think my number one piece of advice would be a full-on life audit. Really, and it's tough because obviously human nature, we're quite egotistical, and sometimes there's a barrier that stops us from really kind of self-analysing ourselves and going, right, this doesn't serve me anymore. Alcohol, drugs, chasing women, or pornography, or certain things that we deem as all right, we should really put into a category of like, okay, this doesn't serve me anymore. And that can be people as well. I feel like in your 20s you should be. I don't think it's a mantra that you should have in your 20s. I think in your 20s you should be quite malleable. I think you should be flexible and fluid and be a yes man, because it then it then opens more doors if you're like that. And I think that's important. But when you get to your 30s, I feel like, I mean, who am I to say like when you get to your 30s you shouldn't be a yes man? But this is what I think anyway. Get to your 30s, life audit, what serves me, what doesn't serve me. And then second to that, I would say a good old factory reset in some of your belief system. I feel like a lot of what you believe in is a byproduct of what you've been told in a mindset and environment whereby you didn't give it time to think, marinate. You just sort of, in the moment, were told this piece of information, you accepted it. And then that was like your belief system. And then a part of you is constantly trying to challenge it, but you're really like rigid and approaching like, oh no, this is what I thought when I was 20. I think have a good old factory reset and almost like question and challenge your current belief system. I think would be key. I'd say that there too. You could go into so many points about being in your 30s, but I'd say they're my big two. And thirdly, look after your health. I feel like as you enter 30, you're starting to, the accumulation of what and how you pushed your years as a 20 start to come out. And like, I feel like I'm in that position as well now. Health issues and like things like teeth and hair, and you're so like almost delusional when you're a kid. Like your risk to reward ratio when you're in your 20s of like smashing gear and doing all sorts, and you're like, I'll be fine because you can at that time handle it. Do you know what I mean? Like in your 20s you can handle it, but as you get to 30 you start to see, or at least I feel like that anyway. Maybe you can push it, or I know people that are still pushing it in their 30s, but I feel like the general consensus amongst a lot of people is like, oh, I'm starting to feel the effects of how we pushed it in our 20s. So really start to prioritise your physical and mental health. Like try as best as possible to start to optimise as well. And yeah, I think that just comes with maturing anyway. But I certainly feel like that at this current time. Diving into a lot more of diving into a lot more education and reading and expanded the mind in your 30s, I think. Just feels natural, feels comfortable. Right, that is all from me. Picked up the book. I must stop buying books, man. Psycho-cybernetics. All about the science of our thoughts and how they can be measured. Amazing. I'm gonna try and dual read up until Ibiza. I'm gonna try and do a few pages of the fiction and a few pages of this, and then boom into Power of Now. Okay, thank you for watching today's video. I hope you are all doing fabulous. Weather's a bit shite, I know, but summer's looked like he's round the corner. I'll be for in 3 or 4 weeks. Extremely excited, me and Josh. Very, very excited for that trip, I tell you. I shall leave things there with you. Thank you, good night, and much love. Take care of yourself. What are you doing tonight? Getting lagging. I'm joking.